Let's jump into the acrylic vs latex paint debate. Here's everything you need to know. First, there are many paint types out there. It's, therefore, crucial to balance taste and substrate compatibility before purchasing paint. To get this right, you need to know the paints or have some background information. As I've indicated earlier in this video, I'll look at acrylic vs latex paint. The paints are the same in some aspects and differ in others. What is acrylic paint? A good paint job is more than meets the eye. It's the culmination of using the most appropriate paint, sufficient priming, proper painting techniques, and top-quality application tool. This segment focuses on enlightening you on one of the best paints for every project. Acrylic. So, what is acrylic paint? It is a quick-drying paint comprising pigments dispersed in acrylic polymer emulsion and stabilizers, defoamers, plasticizers, metal soaps, and silicone oils. Most acrylics are waterborne, so you can thin them and wash spills off using water. Types of acrylic paint. Industrial acrylics come in two grades. Professional or artist acrylics. These are designed to withstand chemical reactions due to exposure to oxygen, water, and UV rays. Student acrylics. These are less expensive formulas with lower pigment proportions and fewer obtainable colors than their professional grade counterparts. The rest of their features are similar. Varieties. Heavy body acrylics. These are typical of professional and student grade paints. Heavy body alludes to the thickness or viscosity of the paint. They are ideal for impasto painting technique and can retain brush strokes, painting knife strokes, and even medium stiff peaks. Open acrylics. These paints are formulated with hydrophilic acrylic resins and other chemicals that lengthen their drying time to match oil paints. Their drying times range from hours to days depending on the constituents, paint thickness, relative humidity, and temperature. Medium viscosity acrylics are also called soft body acrylics, high flow acrylics, or fluid acrylics. They have the same pigmentation but lower viscosity than the heavy body variety. The cost and quality of these paints vary as they come in either craft or artist. Interactive acrylics. These are multi-purpose acrylic artist colors with the typical quick drying attribute. Craft acrylics. They are used on surfaces in addition to canvas. Such surfaces include metal, wood, ceramics, and fabrics. The paints are ideal for faux finishing and decorative painting. Craft paints often use PVA resins or vinyl to improve adhesion and reduce cost. Iridescent, pearl, and interference acrylic paints combine ordinary pigments with pulverized aluminum silicate, mica or powdered bronze to produce enthralling visual effects. What is latex paint? In this part, I'll take a close-up look at latex paint, including its pros and cons. It's essential to know both paints inside out so you can navigate smoothly through the rest of the video. It'll also help you make the best decision before purchasing. Without further ado, what is latex paint? In the most basic terms, latex paint is a dispersion of polymer PVDOS in the water alongside pigments and additives. In more scientific parlance, latex is an emulsion that stiffens or solidifies on exposure to air. It comprises resins, alkaloids, tannins, proteins, sugars, gums, oils, and starches. Acrylic vs latex paint. This section constitutes the core of the video. Here, I'll present acrylic vs latex paint in terms of their weather resistance, durability, coverage, curing time, adhesion, etc. The paints have similarities and differences. I'll start with the similarities. They are based on solvent or vehicle. Both acrylic and latex paints use water as the principal solvent. The solvent forms the continuous or liquid phase of paint, where the acrylic and latex paint components are suspended. Water gives acrylic and latex paints flow properties, makes them easy to apply, and holds all the constituents together, forming one functional unit. Additives. Additives are adjunct substances added to paint to improve their performance and efficacy. Biocides. These are mainly fungicides, bacteriocides, and vermicides. They prevent fungal growth, bacterial decomposition, and substrate destruction by rodents. Examples are barium metaborate, tributyltin oxide, and zinc oxide. Paint conditioners. Floetrol is the principal conditioning agent for both paints. It improves their flow and usability. Dispersants are low molecular weight substances added to paint to prevent clumping or agglomeration of suspended constituents. It does so by making the PVDOS repel each other. Examples include polyvinyl pyrrolidone, sodium valdecyl sulfonate, and polyacrylate salts. Corrosion inhibitors prevent rusting and other forms of chemical degradation of, especially metallic substrates. They include aluminum flake, barium chromate, calcium borosilicate, etc. Catalysts. They accelerate polymer cross-linking and reduce drying and curing temperature. and time. It leads to faster film formation. Examples are lead octane and carbodiamide. Emulsifiers facilitate the mixing of the miscible components of paint by increasing their kinetic stability. Adhesion promoters are bifunctional substances that increase the bonding power between the paint. On the substrate, they include organofunctional silanes, organometallic compounds, chlorinated polyolefins, and silicone-modified polymers. Texturizers impart character or a grainy feel to paints. This improves their tactile quality. It's good for impasto painting. The most commonly used agent is finely ground silica dioxide. If the grip isn't enough, you can add acrylic or latex textured gels and mediums. The major manufacturing brands are Winsor, Newton, Liquitex, and Pebeo. Durability. Acrylic paint is more durable than latex paint because of its hard-wearing characteristics. Coverage. Acrylic paint has slightly better surface coverage than latex, so if you buy identical amounts of both paints, the acrylic will see you further through the project than latex paint. However, premium latex paints have better coverage than some acrylic paints. Predictably, they cost more. Weather resistance. Acrylic paint can withstand more harsh or extreme weather conditions than latex. For instance, the weather could be rainy for a few weeks, then extremely sunny in the subsequent weeks. It could also oscillate between high humidity and low humidity. Adhesion. Adhesion, in this context, means the bonding power of paint to surfaces. Again, acrylic paint has a slight edge on latex in this regard. Consequently, you can apply acrylic paint without using a primer. But this doesn't completely disregard the need for a primer for acrylics. Substrates like plastic, glasses, and some lumber have very smooth surfaces. Drying time. Both paints have short drying times because they are water-based. The dry time range for recoating is 4 to 6 hours. However, acrylic paint is on the lower limit side of the range, while latex paint falls closer to the upper limit. In a nutshell, acrylic paint takes a slightly shorter duration to dry than latex. Ease of use. We often gauge a paint's ease of use on two parameters, i.e., application and cleanup. Both acrylic and latex paints are easy to use and far more straightforward than all oil-based paints. It's because they are waterborne. But if we take a close-up analysis of the paints in question, latex paints are easier to use than acrylics. Cost and availability. Both paint retail at affordable prices thanks to technological advancements in sourcing raw materials and continual refinement of production methods. A head-to-head comparison of the two paints ranks acrylics marginally above latex paints in costs. Latex is cheaper because most of it is synthesized, and the main building blocks cost less. We are going to end this video right away. If you have any query or information to share, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.